The debut was okay, the second was meh, and the third wasn't very good. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling, here to review AEW Collision for the 1st of July 2023. Yeah, we're into July now. A lot of wrestling this weekend, and we've got a lot of wrestling on this show, AEW Collision. So, yeah, we had the premiere a couple weeks ago. It felt okay. It looked fresh. I liked the new commentators. I just liked the fact that it was different. It looked different. The stage, the ring, the presentation. It looked better than Dynamite. Now, whether that's because it is better than Dynamite or whether that's just because we just seen something new for a change and we were enjoying the new look to a show, I'm not too sure. But what I would say is, a couple of weeks in, and already AEW Collision is wearing off on me. And tonight was heavily featured around the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. And look, I mean, no offence here to Owen Hart, but this is a jobber tournament. This is a tournament that means absolutely nothing. I think if they wanted to do it as a one-off, then okay, that's great, that is fine. But obviously now it's turned into a yearly thing, an annual thing. And it's just like the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. These things don't mean anything. When the Andre the Giant Battle Royal first came around, I thought it was a one-off Battle Royal. I thought they were going to honour Andre the Giant with a Battle Royal, and whoever won it got the statue. I wasn't aware at the time that they were going to do it every single year, and that looks to be what they're doing with this Owen Hart thing, and it's lame. It's literally just putting a dead wrestler on the name of the tournament or the Battle Royal just to try and make it feel more important, and it doesn't feel more important. These matches don't mean anything. Who cares if you get to the quarter, semis, final, or win it? This isn't a championship. You don't get anything. Yeah, oh, you might get acknowledged as the Owen Hart winner, but it doesn't mean anything. It's garbage. It really, really is. So, I mean, if they want to do it as a one-off, I mean, fair enough. Absolutely fine. But to do this annually and to do this every year, I just do not see the point in it. I think it absolutely sucks. That's my opinion on the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. And they've got two. They've got a men's and a women's. At least in WWE, they don't have the female Andre the Giant Battle Royal, but fuck, who knows? It could be coming. Or maybe they'll just stick the women that look like men into the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, the likes of Shayna Baszler and all those people, Rhea Ripley, Raquel Rodriguez. Anyway, let's move on to tonight's show. First match, AEW World Champion MJF defeats some guy called Kip Morst. Who the hell is Kip Morst, you say? I don't know either, so no point asking me. Beats him in like 30 seconds. Then Ethan Page comes out. Ethan Page is insulting. He's insulting MJF, I guess, because MJF was bashing Canada. Ethan says that he talks about he's got family in Canada. Page then says that MJF's not a company man, even though he's always bragging about how AEW always calls on him to make appearances because he delivers. Page then accepts a challenge from MJF and he calls him a bare minimum bitch. And I'll tell you what, MJF does seem to have like a Roman Reigns schedule. It's actually crazy. The lack of TV time, the lack of appearances that MJF makes, and the lack of matches. This is a guy that has not wrestled a lot at all. Anyway, he wrestles Ethan Page and he beats Ethan Page. So MJF is 2-0 for the night. Damn it, he's getting an Undertaker streak here on AEW Collision, but MJF gets the win. Then we get the first match of the Owen Hart Foundation tournament match tonight, quarterfinals. It was Powerhouse Hobbs versus Dustin Rhodes. Powerhouse Hobbs wins. No surprise. I mean, what is Dustin Rhodes doing here? Why is Dustin... It's time for Dustin Rhodes, I think, to retire. Look, I've got nothing against the guy. I mean, he can still move, but I just don't see the point of him being an active guy just like everybody else on the roster. It offers nothing. Perhaps if he had the odd match, maybe if he only wrestled a few times a year, then maybe it would feel like a bigger deal. Maybe we would appreciate Dustin Rhodes more. But at the moment, anytime he wrestles, I just see an old guy trying to keep up with the young guys. And I'm not saying he's not decent or whatever, but it's like, just move on to the next stage of your career. You know, when you get to that age, you should be looking to at least slow down. And if you're a big enough deal, then you become an attraction. Is Dustin Rhodes a big enough deal? I don't know. I think if you put him back in WWE, now I'm not too sure how it would work. Maybe it would be a watered down version, but I definitely think there's room to have Goldust wrestle a couple of times a year. Maybe make the odd Rumble appearance. Maybe just have the odd feud, who knows? Or maybe he could go back to WWE as Dustin Rhodes, and he could be in his brother's corner as he tries to, finish the story. Because we had Cody going into WrestleMania. Cody was very isolated. Dustin Rhodes could have went back to WWE. He could have had a big part in that. He could have been he could have been by Cody's side in Cody's corner for the big feud against Roman Reigns. Dustin Rhodes, maybe they could have done something with Dustin and Brock Lesnar. They could have had, possibly when Brock beat up Cody, maybe they could have had Dustin challenging him on Raw, and that would have been good. Main event of Raw, Dustin Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar. I'm not saying it's to be a competitive match or a long match, but you could have just had, a good match, a quick match, a brawl, anything, domination for Brock. I think there's things that Dustin Rhodes could be doing in WWE, but instead he's on AEW Collision and AEW in general, not doing much. But yeah, Hobbs wins. Then we got Miro versus Anthony Henry. Again, who is Anthony Henry? Who are half of these jobbers? I do not know. Tony Schiavone then comes to the ring. He interviews the Bullet Club Gold. I guess the club have some heat. They're talking about how this is a golden era for the Bullet Club. I take it the Gun Club, is the Gun Club now officially a part of the Bullet Club? Not that I really care. Or is it just the Bullet Club like to hang around with the Gun Club? I'm not too sure. I don't think it really matters though. Jay White warns that him and Juice are coming for FTR's AEW World Tag Team titles. Punk, Starks and FTR interrupt on the big screen. Punk said White should buy himself a replica title belt from Shop AEW and carry it around like the AEW World Champion MJF does. FTR accepts White's challenge. So here we go. CM Punk again taking a shot at MJF, insinuating that he is the real champion. Is this going to go anywhere? Is anything going to happen with this? Who knows? Who knows? Or are they going to have two titles? Are they going to have one for Dynamite, one for Collision? I would not do that. Unless you're going to have a proper brand split, then yeah, fine, have two world titles. But if you're not going to have a proper brand split, if you're going to have most of the wrestlers turn up on AEW Collision and AEW Dynamite, then you can't have two world belts. It doesn't fucking work that way. But yeah, maybe we'll get Punk versus MJF or something like that. Maybe they're building up for that in the future, because Punk has insinuated a few times now that the belt that MJF's carrying around doesn't really mean anything, because it's not the belt that CM Punk has, and CM Punk was undefeated when he left. Then we got Juice Robinson versus Ricky Starks, another Owen Hart Foundation tournament match. I just don't really care, guys. Ricky Starks won. Good for him, I guess. That's the Bullet Club Gold losing tonight. After the match, so we had it confirmed it would be Starks versus Powerhouse Hobbs. Then the Bullet Club Gold came in, they surrounded Starks and they started beating him up. But don't worry, Starks, because your buddies CM Punk and FTR run out to make the save, and the Bullet Club Gold retreated. Then we got a promo backstage with the TNT champion Luchasaurus and Christian Cage. Cage ignored the question why he's carrying the title and why he talks about being co-champion when the belt belongs to Luchasaurus. Then Shawn Spears interrupted and asked Luchasaurus if he's okay with Cage holding his title. Spears said he wants to speak to the champ, and he made it known that he wants a title shot. But Luchasaurus wasn't really listening to him. Cage dismissed him, said that he's not dangerous and he never will be. Cage told Spears to walk away. Spears then told him that everyone is capable of being dangerous, if they meet the right person. So there you go, nice wee threat there from the Perfect 10, Shawn Spears, the chairman, so to speak, and I guess we'll see if Spears is dangerous or not. But I mean, it's not exactly a match that I'm excited to see. Spears versus Cage or Spears versus Luchasaurus. Nah, not for me. Then when Spears walked away, Luchasaurus grunted like a big dinosaur. Yeah, I mean, if you enjoyed this, then great. I definitely think they could do more with Christian. There's definitely something better Christian could be doing on the show than this. Then it was AEW TBS title time. It was Lady Frost, and again, who the fuck is Lady Frost? Challenging Chris Statlander for the belt. Just so many people on this show, guys, that I do not know. Like, just a lot of people that I've never seen before, and a lot of people that I honestly do not care for. It's hard to care for the people that I do know, never mind the people that I don't know. But Chris Statlander won, to nobody's surprise. Good for him, I guess. She stood tall with the belt. Lexi Nair then interviewed Andrade backstage, and he asked about he was talking about the AEW Trio World Champions, House of Black. Andrade was angry and he talked about House of Black taking his mask. Then he yelled in Spanish, no idea what he said. But yeah, I mean, he was yelling. Then the House of Black appeared on the screen and were mocking Andrade for taking his mask, I guess. And they said we'll meet in due time. Andrade was angry, shouting more Spanish. So, hey, if you know Spanish and you know what he said, then congratulations. Unfortunately, I don't, so I didn't really care. Then it's main event time, guys. The final quarter-final of the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. It's like Owen Hart this, Owen Hart this, Owen Hart that. I mean, let's just rest in peace, Owen Hart. The guy died like, what, 14 years ago? Why are we doing this? I just don't get it every year. AEW. He never even appeared in AEW. The Harts have got nothing to do with AEW. I mean, you could understand WWE doing it. Or at push WCW since Brett worked there, and so did Jim Neidhart. You know, you could maybe understand that, but AEW clearly just leeching off a dead guy. It's not a good look. Anyway, main event, CM Punk comes out for a special referee's position. Samoa Joe takes on Roderick Strong, and Samoa Joe beats Roderick Strong. He caught him in the Coquina Clutch. Strong went out and the referee called the match. This confirms Punk versus Joe for the upcoming semi-finals. Like, what are they doing, Punk versus Joe? I thought this was going to be a big match and they're going to waste it in the semi-finals. What they should do is they should have that be like a no contest, or like it ends early in a DQ, or someone gets attacked and can't compete. It's a walkover. They need to do something, because they're hyping up that they're gonna do a Joe versus Punk match, and you can't have the match be a semi-final match for the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. Nobody wants to see that. That would be a horrible idea if that is indeed what they do. Anyway, Joe attacked Roderick Strong. He hit him with a muscle buster on a chair, and he left him pretty banged up. Punk then checked on Strong. Adam Cole ran down to check on Strong. Medics were out. Medics put a neck brace on Roderick, not so strong, and they took him away on the stretcher as the show ended. So Samoa Joe with a win. Samoa Joe looking tough, looking strong, and it sets up, I believe, Joe versus Punk for the 4th time. So it's going to be Joe Punk, or Joe Punk Joe 4 times now. Number 4. So that's what we're going to get next week on AEW Collision. And then I believe the next one is on the July 15th edition. Ricky Starks versus Powerhouse Hobbs. So that is what the matches look like. Anyway, guys, the show itself, I mean, wasn't great. A bunch of Owen Hart Foundation matches I don't care for. None of the promos were really good. The new effect, guys, the new show is wearing off on me. I know, I thought Ethan Page and MJF was okay, and maybe I'll give it a 2 out of 10. There you go, 2 out of 10. That's about as much as I can give it, guys. That's me trying to be as fair as I can possibly be. 2 out of 10 for AEW Collision. Let me know what you guys thought down below, and of course we'll catch you in the next one. But until then, peace.